So this is an exercise to read notes, and your hand is in A minor position. So go ahead and put your right hand in A minor, because the first starting note is A. And then you notice patterns. So this is the same. And then you notice that if you compare the third bar to the first bar, there's only one note that changed, because the top note, the half note, is still there. It's the same one. So that note changed. But then that same thing is repeated. So these two bars are the same. And you move on and you notice again that the first note is changed, but the top note is still the same. It's still E. Face, F-A-C-E, that's E, the half note. It's the same. So you're constantly playing E, but now and then you change the first note, which is in square. So basically, I don't need to pay attention to the second bar because it's always going to be the same, right? And then when you get to the last section, should I say, then you also notice that the first note is changed. The top note, the half note, is still the same E. And so basically, if I compare the first note, here's space note, to this line note, I went up by one. If that is A, then this is B. And then this bar is exactly the same thing as the previous bar. And then I get to the green note and I see, oh, well, that's the next note. It's C. It's a line note to space note. And then I get to the space note to the line note. So the orange note is D. I basically went up. And I repeat each bar. And then the note that comes back all the time is this half note. It's always there. Whether I change the bottom note or not, the top note is there all the time. And that I basically repeat each bar 2 times, right? So let's do that. So notice those things before you start reading notes, and don't just look at one note at a time. When you notice pattern, you read much faster. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, here we go. A, E, hold, repeat that. Now B, all the way to the top, repeat that. Then C, and repeat that. Then D, and repeat that. Right? Exactly that. So what happens is I'm starting to put chords to it. So the chord is now written as a symbol on top. So what are those chords? Let's review all our chords, since you know how to find any major or minor chords according to what I explained to you earlier. F chord, of course, the second bar is always going to be the same, so I'm not going to highlight it. F chord is where? Because my shortcut to you was bottom note to the middle note is 4 half step. Middle note to the top note is 3 half steps. F major. So F major there, repeat it. Then you go to G major. G major is where? Right here. But again, bottom note to the top, the middle note is 4 half step. Middle note to the top note is 3 half step. Oh, that's G major. Okay, so I'm going to play G major twice. Then I'm going to get to A minor. How do I find A minor? Well, just find the major one first. A, 4 half steps. And then from there, 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. And if you find an A major, you can find an A minor, as you know in my other videos, to just move the middle finger down by a half step. That's A minor. And then the last one, well, that's the one you already know. So basically, you're just moving in white keys. F major is here twice, then G major is here twice, and then A minor is here twice, and back to G major. They all are played in root position, which is what I'm asking you to do So just play them in root position, I said here. Right? Okay, so here we go, but we have to put the two hands together with the left hand lower, because if not, it's gonna be, I don't know. Does it? No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't overlap with each other. So here we go. The melody that we've been doing along with the chords. And a reminder, the melody we've been doing is what? It's basically stepping up a lot. First we started with A, right? Then we repeated that. And then we went to B. We repeated it. And then we went to C. And then we went to D. The starting note is just increasingly higher, right? We started with A. And we repeat that bar. And then with B, repeat that bar. Here we go. Two hands. F chord. And the right hand is in A position. And the left hand is on F chord. You know that the F chord then will move straight up to G, then straight up to A, and back to G. All the next keys, right? Here we go. And again, the F chord. Now the right hand will change to a B. Left hand will have to move up to G chord. And again. Now the right hand will play a C, and the left hand will move up to the A minor chord. Repeat that. Right hand will move up to D, but the left hand moves down to the G chord. One more time without me stopping to explain. Here we go. Repeat that. B with the G chord. C with the next A minor chord. D with the left hand going down to G chord. And again. And repeat that. B with the G chord. C with the A minor chord. And D with the G chord. And that's an example of how you can play a melody, which is a chord symbol like a guitarist. What happens if you scroll up? There are just variations. That's why I say it as an exercise. Now, instead of playing the actual chord symbol or full chords, what happens is you are doing a sort of simplified broken chord. What is simplified broken chord? Well, instead of a F being F, A, C, you only play the bottom note and the top note. So you're only using pinky and thumb, but it's still F chord. But you could see from the two notes that are there, and then repeat it, that you're only playing pinky, number 5, and thumb, number 1. But it's still the same chord. So when do you change your chord up? You change it here, G. Every time your right hand changes note, your left hand changes chord. And then A minor would be here, A and E. Simplified version of the same chords that we've been doing full. And then back to G chord, right? Back to the pink chord. Okay, so here we go. Now the left hand only has pinky and thumb, and it plays at the same time as the right hand, so it makes it easier. Here we go. A position right hand, F position left hand, and they go from bottom to top. And repeat that. B in the right hand with the G position chord, the left hand only plays bottom top. And repeat. C in the right hand with the purple chord in the left hand, which is A position. And here we go. Bottom note to top note. And then finally the last one. D in the right hand with the pink chord, which is the G position chord. Here we go. I should scroll a little bit so you could see the chord symbol. I'm sorry about that. So let's do scrolling up there. You can see the chord symbol there. Okay, so basically you're still doing the same melody, you're still doing the same chord, but your chord is now broken and simplified. So F instead of FAC, it's just FC. And again, G is just GD instead of GBD. And again, A minor is A and E. You're deleting the C in the middle. Back to G. Yeah. So I'm still just color coding for you, just so you know. The pink chord is the G. The purple one is the A minor. And the first one, I can't remember what color I used, but it doesn't matter. It's the F. So one more time, just that. A with the F position chord, B with the G position, C with the A minor position, D with the G position. And those of you who do have pedal, just try and push it down, the damper pedal, the one on your right, and it would sound much better. And then what's the next? Whoa, okay, kind of the same, right? Can you see that it's kind of the same? Except now you play all the 3 notes of your chord. That's the only difference. The melody has not changed. So let's do that part right away since you know your chord. Ready? And F chord with A. And again. B with G chord. And again. C with A minor chord. D with a G chord again. One more time without me saying all those things. Again. Next one. Next one. Next one. And if you're finding this difficult, just go back and do the original just block chord F and then G and then A minor and back down to G. And just practice with block chords like repeat. Next one, B with the G chord. Sometimes you have to just stop the video and practice the block chord. Always block chord first and then C with the A minor, right? And get that so used to it that you can practically call somebody on the phone and talk, and you still can do your 2 hands block chord. Then you can look into these more extensive broken chord thing. Now this one requires you to have seen the video about broken position first. So what is broken position? Open position. Open position is that if you see a symbol F, then you do F, and then you delete the A in your chord, you play the C, but you're going to put your index there because you're going to double the F up here. So pinky and thumb always will be playing the same thing. So for each of those chords you're playing, F will become open. Your hand is open. And the way to see it, shortcut is that you're jumping over 3 keys, put your index there, then jump over 2 keys and put your thumb there. So F open position would be F, C, F. How about G? So you go G, jump over 3 keys, and index will be there. From the index, jump over 2 keys, and that will be G open position. So the distance between your fingers will be the same. If you do F position, it will be this. G position, it will be this. distance between my fingers is the same. A minor position or A major, doesn't matter, will be this. And that's the left hand for this new line. And some of you have small hands and you cannot hold it like that. That's okay. Just focus on that one. Jump over 3 keys. Stretch your index there. Release your pinky. Then jump over 2 keys and put your thumb there. As long as you can move around and look at your keys, from the bottom note, jump over 3 keys, then put the index next. Then jump over 2 keys. That's F, open position. How about G? G first. Jump over 3 keys, then you're here. Jump over 2 keys, your thumb is here. A, same thing. We start on A, jump over 3 keys, jump over 2 keys. So stop the video and practice that many, many times until you can easily go. I'm playing as if my fingers cannot reach. And I have to release the pinky as soon as I'm not using it anymore. And an A. Release the pinky when you're not using it. Back to G at the end of the song, the exercise. So do practice and stop the video until you're comfortable before you're putting down both hands together. So again, both hands together would be, repeat, F, open position. B with the G, open position. And again. C in the right hand with A, open position. D with the G, open position. And again. And so just stop the video, go at your own pace until you can get about this beat. As much as you can when you're practicing one hand at a time, I would like you to focus on what you see on the screen. That means try to look at these notes as you're practicing your open position, just so that visually speaking, you could see that approximately they have the same distance between them. Okay? And that way you're reading how to learn chord symbols and the new way, this open position way to do it, but also that your eyes are starting to get used to distances between your notes, and so getting used to reading. And then this is more of the same, but the left hand, notice now we are back to a very simplified 2 notes. So the left hand here resembles exactly what we had here. Just the simplified version, the bottom note and the top note. And so on the page 2, you have the same left hand, bottom note, top note. What's different is where the second bar in the right hand is not repeating the same thing at all. The second bar in the right hand varies it a little bit. Instead of just A, E, it's A, E, then step down with a certain rhythm. So let's do just the right hand, these 2 bars, instead of just A, E, A, E, step down. Because the rhythm is 1, 2, and 3. So it's a variation. It's called improvisation. I wrote it out for you. So A, E, hold. A, E, down, down. Right? So the second bar starts varying, and that's why we are making the left hand simple again. Next one. B, E. And the second time we're doing it, instead of just B, E, I also stepping and skip. It's not step, step, step. I don't want to end on C. I end on, the first two are the same, but then I end it on a skip. So just make sure that you are playing that note correctly. E, step down, and then skip down, right? Okay, so let's do the B, E, step, skip. And then B, E, step, skip. Third one, it's still a C beginning, so C, E, step, step. Okay, so these are just steps. So these are just exactly the same way that I did the earlier first one. That's the same. I just steps. And then the last one is D, E. And then a completely different thing. And you can read the notes. So try to read the notes before I get it to you. You know, it's D, step up, then D, and that's the same D. Before you up, step up from that, go back to that same D, and step up from it. So this last bar, the right hand is D, D, up, D, up, because we are going to repeat. Each of these lines are supposed to be repeated because you see the dot, dot, right? The dot, dot with the opposing dot, dot means repeat each line twice. Go back to this one and repeat it. So the D, E, then the second time you go D, and again D, E, D, E, and back to the A, E. Then A, E, step down. Now B, and B, E again, E, step, skip. Now the C, and then the C again, and we step down. Now the D, and the second time is the D, repeated, up, down. Then you can go to the next line. How do it sounds when I put the two hands together? So notice that it's the same A, E, variation, B, E, variation, C, E, variation, D, D, variation. Okay, so two hands together, what sounds like? And the variation is E, step down. B, in left hand, move to G position, please. B, E. And one more time with the variation in the right hand. E, step, skip. Now we're going to the C with the A minor position. And one more time C, and then we're stepping down, variation. Now we get into the D with back to left hand G chord. And the last bar in blue is D, D. We're back to F, the first bar. F chord. G chord with a B. Same thing, but we will do a variation. And same A minor with the C. And the variation of that one, stepping down. And a D with a G chord. And it does hang a little bit, that variation. It hangs because of the way I wrote the variation. And that's all I wrote. I could have written more for you, but that's, if you want to end the song, you should not end it on G. You should end it on the first bar. So if you want to end the song and you find yourself that this is too floaty, go back to this one. and just repeat that twice. In fact, if you want to end it, I would change the chord not to F but to A minor. So I'll play it for you so you see how it ends. The G chord here. And I ended on A minor. That's just something I didn't write. That's all. Okay, so that's an exercise in reading notes. And I've gone through the right hand for you to practice how to read notes. And you just have to pause a lot in this video in order to get all of it, especially if you're a brand new beginner.